Hello, welcome to the Sacred Rose Temple and this energy forecast for this week. I have been away for the last couple of weeks and I've really missed doing these energy forecasts. In fact, they really help me touch base with the energies that's happening out there. And I went on quite a big journey. I journeyed back to England to see my parents and to spend time with a friend, but also for something that has come up for my next stage, for my next movement in life. And I'm going to be sharing details about that very soon. This move is going to be really big for me, something that I've been working towards. And in the light of bringing a feminine mystery school into the ground, into a sacred space and in a real building and in a real kind of deep complexity of feminine work and wellness. So keep posted. I will be sharing that when everything's been signed over and I'm ready to move. And that will happen in the summer, that I will be leaving this beautiful Temple de la Rose, but in the hands of someone I know very well. So everything has changed massively for me over the last couple of weeks. And I really wanted to start there because with the power of the eclipse portal, things were wanting to move towards you. And I was saying this, I wrote a blog about the energies of anima and animus, the feminine and masculine principles, and all of you know that I work deeply with the feminine principle. It's my principle of choice that I work with. And with me having a very deep masculine principle, it always means that I've been seeking and moving and heading towards and having a plan and trying to become balanced in the psyche, in the feminine and the masculine, is really rather about me now embracing the anima more, which is much more, well, less driven, for example. And so this new way of being in my anima, which has been so freaking difficult for me, has actually led me to where I want to go. And in fact, what came through, instead of me pursuing, allowed it to come to me, and it pursued me. And I think that I really want to start with that advice, depending upon whether you're animus or anima driven. Have you tried working with the other complex and how that might work out for you? So let's start there. And just how are you all feeling? Just take a minute to feel what moved during the eclipse, what things became very obvious to you, and what things might have come to you uh, that were very clear. Now, I know what came to me might not have been clear unless I grabbed hold of it and said, oh, hey, this is trying to take me somewhere. So that we're very much still building on that eclipse portal and ways in which we're going to move forward now. Like, we're in the year of the horse, and you've heard me speak about this. We're starting to take a really steady movement, and it's in the body. We have a big theme this week in that Venus is with Saturn and Neptune in Aries. And the Venus energy is going to really be asking us to be in that body, especially for women, is to be in beauty. Has many facets. Actually, Venus energy has very many facets. She's not just like a pretty face or a beautiful voluptuous body. Venus has many different aspects to beauty, to her love, to pleasure, to her eroticism, to all of that Venus stands for. And I think what's important this week as we move through, Venus being in Aries and traveling with Saturn and Neptune, is that she's going to be questioning many things. And those things are mainly connected to love. What do we love as women? What do we think love is? How does that show up for us? Uh, our value, like how do we value or not value ourselves, and the desire. And the desire theme has been going on for some weeks in this podcast. I realize that there are trends when I am broadcasting these. So are you desiring enough as a woman? Are you able to allow desire to be part of your life? What do you wish for? What do you want? What do you bring in? And I've really started over the last months to really call out what I desire, really speak it out. I want to be heard by the divine. I want to say, this is what I desire. And actually, the more that I've been doing that, the more that these things have been coming and showing themselves to me. So I work with a lot of women, and I find that shockingly, women find it very difficult to voice what they desire. And the reason that they've lost the voice to desire is because desire has been suppressed. Desire has been seen as sinful, as a negative. But desire is essential. It's the very, very flame of life force that lives within the sacred sexual body of a woman. This desire creates a feminine field around us this week, and it's asking you to, in the balls of desire within you, if you can really get to the balls of your desire, is to become braver, clearer, and more self-defining. And I'm laughing at me saying getting to the balls of, because I always say this about myself as an animus, more dominant woman, that I do have balls, like I do. And we all have that as women. We have like this courage, this place where we can be clearer, that we can define ourselves, and we do speak our desire. This is big work in a world that actually likes you to be quiet and notice people around you that are wanting you to be silent, and do not allow it. Do not allow it. Your self definition is about what you believe in, what you stand for, what you love, what you cherish, whether that's good or bad, whether it's exciting for some or dull for others or controversial, whatever. This is really a time to stop diluting yourself and allowing yourself to be very clear with your mission, what you desire, what you stand for, what your beliefs are, all of that. This defines you as a person. And if you're talked about because of that, great, great. You better off than being the not talked about person, seriously. So allow this exuberance of who you are as a woman to come through with Venus this week in Saturn and Neptune. It's really less about pleasing other people. Oh my goodness, how much have we given that over to other people as women? Think about all the people you've pleased in your life, your parents, your friends, your siblings, your lovers, your colleagues, your teachers, your peers. It's never ending, the list of pleasing others. And it really is, in some cases, for many women, a place where we don't respect ourselves. And so we're being asked in this energy to really respect ourselves, to be clean about what we want to speak about, what we desire, and have this courageous honesty to be yourself. So, in situations I've had, I had this big opportunity this week, and this person that I was with is a very big, well-known person. And that person said to me, I love that you're so clear and direct. And that's why I want you to be the person that does this. And I've been called out for that over the years. People are like, oh, you're so direct. Oh, but it really is. These things are really your superpower. What may have been criticized, what may have been tried to have been silenced in you. And whenever I see that out there, whenever I see someone doesn't like or likes to want to silence me, I know that this is a part that is powerful in me. So be aware of that. We are seeing that this, frame that we're in, of a better, for want of a better word, of Venus in Aries, is truly about self-appreciation, about thinking all of those things that you may have condemned about yourself. Can you appreciate them? I am learning more to appreciate that I am outspoken, that I am passionate, that I am fiery, that I do have, I'm very emotional. I'm also very sensitive. And they're things that I think in my healing journey, I thought that I could heal. And I'm realizing now I've been working on them. What shadow, what's light, where is the pain? But what I'm realizing after nearly 20, no, like 30 years of self work is that those very things that I've been trying to heal and have worked with healing are now coming out to be the very attributes as I come to 50 that are being required of me and to step forward into. So this is a fresh relational start with yourself, first and foremost. What can you go forward with this week that is in better relation with you? What do you love about yourself? What do you appreciate yourself? And I'm beginning to love those outspoken, strong-willed, desiring, passionate places in me, and any energy around me that is wanting to quash that. I am going to absolutely eradicate from my life. And I'm going to go more into that because this is also important this week. So think about this week as being a fresh relational start. Who do I want in my life? Who do I not? What have I put up with because I didn't want to be lonely? Or what did I put up with because it was there? Or what kind of shitty love did I put up with, or relations? Even if that's from people very close, like your husband or your children, like go from a new ground zero of this is how I have boundaries around my relationships with friends, colleagues, siblings, parents, whatever. This will really help you as we move forward. Uh, and because of the feminine field around Venus, it's really asking us as women to speak out, to speak out. We're seeing atrocities in this world like we have never seen before. Just because we're seeing them doesn't mean they haven't been there. I was sharing with someone today about, you know, some of the big names that have come up. I've known about this for years and screaming about the satanical cults that operate in our world. We have so many light cults around the world that are trying to bring light and goodness in. And the polarities and duality exist. So we have the opposites. Of course, we have darker cults. Of course, we have people who are preying on the darkness to yield power. Of course, this has been in myth since the beginning of time that the world was in the power dynamic of dark and light. You know, all your films show that. It's still the same. So it's a rather naive place to believe that the world is only light and these aren't operating. And during this time, I'm a little more quiet than I have been because I usually am I've been screaming about this for years. And now I'm just like sharing the odd thing, just jogging people's memories of the things I shared many years ago about these people in authority. I am still shocked at people who celebrity worship. I am still shocked that people think that anyone in any governmental structure is okay. Like, I'm shocked. These structures, these people are feeding from this dark force, and we need to override it. And this doesn't mean that we as women have to go into deep hurt about it. We don't need to sit and be in our nervous system or be overthinking about it. That's not what this is asking us for. And neither is it asking us to be apathetic and turn a blind eye, because that means if you're turning a blind eye to the world situation and you don't want to know, you're also turning a blind eye to your shadow, your own darkness. What we are trying to do as women as we move forward in this is speak out, is name what is hurting ourselves and the world. We are refusing self-sacrifice anymore for the price of love or for the price of people who want to power and dominate over us. This is really, in Aries, a turning point towards initiation rather than just being silent. Being silent and enduring is what has suppressed feminine energy over for so long. So now that repression, that endurance is not being asked of you. You're being asked to have candor and really, really speak out, really desire, really share, and take a look at yourself, how you have related with the government, how you have related with celebrities, where your power has been given. These people will save the world. These people will be democratic. Or these people are amazing. Or it's all over. It's all over where we project our own power outside of ourselves and we create this huge, massive shadow in the world because we're also projecting our own demons and our own darkness. So this really sits in the energy of this week where you have to realize where relationships, whether it be with your relationship with the celebrity world or the government or your partner or your parents, has been idealized. You have been living in an idealized version. The world is shifting now from an idealized version of the doctor, of the surgeon, of the politician, of the celebrity, of the talk show host, whatever. We are moving away from an idealization into something that is less delusional. So we are no longer being vague. We're no longer allowing people to carry the emotional labor of our amazing qualities. We can be inspired by people, but we do not say, oh, this is my hero. I'm hero worshipping the government, or the government will make all the changes. And then I just sit here as a person and float along with the changes. That's not going to happen. We need to change. We need to recognize ourselves as the saviors, as the heroes, as the ones that can. Otherwise, the world will not change. Many astrologists are naming Venus, Saturn, and Neptune together in Aries as a force of confrontation of your illusions and your fantasies and bringing them into reality. Like, it's time to get real. We have in charge of our world and all around us in the public view people who have not done any integrative work on themselves. These people have psychological issues, they have deep father and mother wounds, and I want to share another video on that. Father and mother wound really governs how we move forward in our lives. It really dominates our behavior. And not many people know this. People idealize their childhood or just don't want to go there. And it's only when we really go into those inner childhood wounds that we can begin to pick our behavior apart. And we have people in charge in the world that's not done any of that work. So they're dominantly unaware of the shadow and the behaviors that have been developed and ruling from that place. So are we surprised that we have such a corrupt system and structures? No, I'm not, because I'm aware of the psychological work that is involved. I also have been saying this within the spiritual communities. There is no spirituality without psychology. They're not separate. In fact, a couple of years ago, someone said, "Oh, spirituality and psychology together, that's a novel." I was like, are you crazy? How are they even separate? And it's so true. I'm seeing in spiritual groups, women who've done spiritual work going round and round in loops. They're not healing. They're not facing the stuff because they're not doing the psychology. They're not doing the therapy. They're not doing the digging into their childhood. They're not doing the shadow work. They say they do shadow work, but they've not really any understanding of what true psychological shadow work involves. And it cannot be done on your own, you just checking yourself out, because your ego does not allow you to admit the deeper things. You need someone in your life that's poking and prodding and trying to bring these things up, and a therapist that works with you on that. That's the journey I've been on. Show me, show me, show me the things that I do not know about myself. We all inflate ourselves. We all think we're better and nicer and kinder than we actually are. So this is the driver that's going to come through. And I'm like, yes, finally, where we get rid of illusions about other people's structures and our own self. So relationships that can cultivate truth, courage, individuality, and emotional security, that we're safe to say what we believe in. We're safe to be passionate if we wish. We're safe to be emotional. These are the ones that are really going to last the test of this portal that we're going through in 2026. And it's starting really now on this movement with these planets this week. We're also halfway through Mercury retrograde. I sat there yesterday with the electrics on my washing machine. I was like, oh yeah, it's Mercury retrograde. Things are kind of going backwards. It's not just about electrical and the internet, of course, it isn't. It's really about digging up what needs to be said, what needs to be understood, what things in the past or in hindsight you didn't get or you didn't work with. In a Mercury retrograde, we might hear from people that we've been in relationships with, we might hear from old friends. It's all coming up so that it can be understood and corrected, remember. So we're halfway through that. And psychologically, Mercury retrograde can actually feel like we're mentally looping. And that's because your psyche, your mind is going over and over, trying to recalibrate, trying to bring back and heal and correct. You will be second guessing a lot. Old conversations will be coming up. You will want a real amount of clarity from people. You will not want the vagueness or the wishy-washy or the, or maybe in the future, like that kind of thing is going to do your head in. We really need specifics, times, dates, anchoring thing in so that we get clarity. And we might be feeling remorse, feel like we've got to reevaluate some situations in our lives, and that's going to really help us, the reevaluation in Mercury, because it really will release us when Mercury goes forward again to say, okay, these are the things I've evaluated and my movement forward looks like this, for example. And because the Mercury is moving close to Mars and the North Node in Pisces, it's not just about thinking about it. Thought has got to meet here. Feeling, how does that make you feel? It's got to bring out your intuition. Notice places where you are not using your intuition, where you needed to. And then things like your destiny and the action that you need to take that goes into your destiny. And believe me, destiny is very aligned with desire too. So feeling the desire and allowing destiny to take you to that big soul desire that you have. So this cluster of Mars, Mercury, North Node in Pisces is really trying to bring you to a very important point in your thinking. And that might mean that the reflection, the correction of what you've thought, and more truthful speak is the medicine that is going to move you forward out of Mercury retrograde. So be reflective, see that there might be a change of direction, and then speak the truth. Speaking truth is going to lead you closer to what you want and what you need. It's all like, it's all going on, that there's so much more, and I'm like, do I talk about more? Is that enough? But I always bang on about the feminine principle, and that's what I wanted to really highlight with regards to Venus. But Mars is also in Pisces, and this is a masculine principle, and I do love a bit of balance, and I like my animus to be tended to as well. So the animus, a masculine principle at the moment, is not operating in its most kind of blunt or linear form right now. Even the masculine principle is moving and trying to move through feeling, through compassion, through surrender. And sometimes, and probably we're all feeling this, that our masculine principle might be feeling very tired, like it needs rest, and that it is in some kind of confusion. So if you're feeling confused and very tired, maybe this is part to do with that masculine principle. And what that masculine principle is asking for you to do is to be softer, be in feeling, have more compassion, and try to surrender. So there's an ultimate contrast here between Venus in Aries and Mars in Pisces. We've got this kind of clarity, truth, forwardness, and then we've got the letting go with the masculine principle. So lots and lots of energies moving, all in the different facets of our psyche to move certain things in us. And that should be your focus. As the world goes to tits, for want of a better word, it's time that you focus in, take all that anger, take all the disbelief, all the illusions, all that is falling, and say, what is this trying to show me? How do I help in the movement forward of this planet? Saturn and Neptune in Aries are a major backdrop. These cycles are telling us that there is a new era coming, and it is beginning at the Aries point. It's linking endings and new beginnings, and it's asking for us to take a more embodied relationship to the vision, the big vision of your life, to the action, and to the responsibility. This world is not the responsibility of your politician or whoever. You projecting all responsibility onto these figureheads. What would it look like if we pulled back our vision, our projection of responsibility, and owned it within ourselves? The world would probably change. So that I wanted to speak on that collective chaos that we're all feeling, because the astrology we're in is absolutely supporting a sense of collective exposure, rawness, reorientation, and Pisces and Aries together can bring both dissolution and ignition, blurring boundaries in places, people getting confused because they can't quite believe what they're seeing, and then awakening deeply some other people. So we're going to see more stuff revealing itself in our collective, more truth around leadership, the media, institutions, and the places where we project our responsibility outward. I think even on the place where we go to the doctor and say, I've got this, and this, cure me, rather than thinking, why have I got this? How have I got this in my body? And how do I help myself? A psychological task here for me in this current climate is, where am I participating in all this world shit? Where am I participating? Where am I being super passive or ignorant? And where am I handing my agency away to the structures that are being exposed right now? That part of interpretation is really supported by that current Saturn, Neptune, Aries, Mercury, and Mars symbolism. So it's about a responsibility rather than a panic and a projection. And it will lead those of us that have been doing the work that feel really like, I'm on a divine mission in this life and I need to evolve and I need to put the work in, because you are someone that feels that you are of service to this world. And if you can be more discerning, if you can have clearer boundaries, if you can feel and want and share your desire to be a conscious participant in this world, then I'm sorry, the world is only going to support you. It needs people like you. It needs people like you. So, key points that are really going to help you move forward this week, especially if you are female. Stand up sooner. Try to remove that gap of saying, oh, I wish I'd have said that at the time. Learn to have the power in your womb to stand up at the point that behaviors are happening towards you. Speak more plainly. Don't put a bow on it. Don't add glitter. Don't sugarcoat it. Speak plainly. Stop translating your truth, what you believe in, what you're passionate about, into a version that makes others comfortable. If people are uncomfortable with you and what you speak of, leave the table. Notice where devotion has turned into depletion. key for us spiritual women who are devotional creatures. But are you being devotional or are you depleting? Shared relationships that require self-erasure. The relationships that ask you not to speak about X, Y, Z, the relationships that ask you to be quieter, the relationships that ask you not to be too much, the relationships that say you're intense, the relationships that say you're too emo, all of it. Any of that dialogue, shed. Cultivate relationships with mutual honor, desire, honesty, and courage. Try to be inspired by those around you. Let pleasure become a compass again, because Venus is very dominant in trying to recover strength in the collective feminine field. And lead from embodiment, from what you have gained in wisdom, for what you lived, what you have shown, rather than getting into situations where you over explain yourself. This is not good. This is not good for you. So big energies as normal. There's no difference every week in, week out. There are massive things going on to assist us in the elevation of the collective conscious and our own soul's growth. I was sat while I was away with this big, huge things that's happened in my life and is really going to allow the deep work that I've been begging for years to finally come into fruition. And I was like, how can I best serve others? Because my online work is going to probably get smaller as I come into a physical place and bring in more physical lines of work and a center. And I want you to really think about getting into community again. It's been so calling on my door for so long, back in community, back into the physical. It's really important right now. But what I want you to look at specifically is the relationship with your own body, being in your own body and using your, as a woman, your sexual energy, which is your life force. They're not separate. A woman's sexual prowess is her life force. So as I was away this week and I sat on this sacred mound, this beautiful, big sacred mound with this really important person who is absolutely wonderful. And I was like, what do I need to bring out the world? And we know that the burrows, the mounds are wombs. And this was in a, a country that has many of these womb spaces. And it was to relaunch the sacred sexuality. That is the most potent medicine, I think, as we go forward in the next few months. And my manumission, as it always has been, to bring women into the presence of their sacred sex. So this sacred sexuality course that I'm launching is the 13 Roses, and it's one of my favorite courses. I wrote this course nonstop over 9 months. I took 9 months out and I wrote this course. It is epic. It works through the 13 divine gateways through a woman's body, going in, activating those gateways and the pathways of energy, and bringing up whatever might be in your way to you coming forward into full body service. It really is about, because Venus is in Aries also, the feminine desire to be back in life with self-ownership and the right to want to give, to be life-giving, because there's a enlivenness in her body that is like an eruption. It really wants to orgasmically erupt from her body into the world. So as the world destabilizes, being stable in our body, in our erotic sovereignty, in our value-led desire, it's going to really take you far. So if you're interested, I sent a newsletter out today that shares the registration for, I'm giving a free activation of the 13 Roses. That will be on April the 2nd. And on that day, I will do an activation. I will talk more about the course, and everyone's invited to that free of charge. If you're interested, even if you want to do the activation, that's one of my gifts that I'm going to give the feminine field. And We'll drop the links under this video for the 13 Roses course and the free activation class before the course starts. And I decided to launch the course for May the 4th. May the 4th be with us, because I really think there's a force right behind us right now that's governing the women to stand up and do this work and really become self-sovereign again in our sexual bodies. So I'm really looking forward to that. I have had inquiries already from some of you women who have been asking me for ages actually to redo this course. And in a group of women, it's ever so powerful. The course is 13 months. I've reduced the price of it that I normally charge to try and get some more women on, make it really accessible to you all. You will find it's so value for money. I have that the month practices are very detailed. There is an active transmission in there that's 1 hour long. Then you'll do a Zoom live call with me. And then there's another meeting every month with Trini, who's going to lead you into the discussion. And then there's feedback in the group. It's massive. It's a really deep way to grow. So we'll drop all the links in the video after this. So I'm really wishing you like formidable sexual life force as we navigate these celestial maps that are trying to govern our lives, so that we can come out of the dark, out of the chaos, out of the way we've been living in our world. It's definitely time for change, and we are the very vehicles that will induce and bring this change into the world. So until next week, uh, please take care of yourselves, look after your body, nurture, rest. Don't forget to reset the vagus nerve. I showed you this, hand over, eye up. Regulate the body. It's really essential at this time. But sending you so much love for now, and take care. Blessings. See you all.